What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you all been well. Today's episode, we're going to be installing, finally, the compressor as well as an All Pro bed box. And if you don't know, I believe it was 2019, maybe 2020, they got rid of the driver's side box or the compartment in the back of the bed. And that's exactly where I was planning to put my compressor. So I was looking around for different options to kind of see what I could do, because I didn't want it mounted in the engine bay because I'd have to open my hood. I didn't want it in the cab because it's loud, and you know, I don't want it to be near the carpet and getting all hot and stuff. I was looking around and I found the All Pro makes a bed box, and you can pretty much DIY this. Even though this is meant to kind of go with the factory hole that's cut, there's nothing wrong with just cutting your own hole and then, you know, bolting this in. So I picked up some hardware from Home Depot. I got the kit. I also have my compressor on the side that's ready to go in. I just got to run the wires after that. But first things first, I'm going to line everything up to kind of see where I'm going to make the hole and mark it off, and then cut this hole out and go from there. Okay, so I got my box or my rectangle all marked off. I also got the holes that I'm going to drill marked off. And I'm just going to take a grinder, just pretty much cut this out. Because this is a composite bed, I'm just gonna have my vacuum going just to kind of suck up all the extra stuff that comes off, because I don't really want to be breathing that in. I just got a respirator just in case, and yeah, we'll just kind of see how it goes. So I got the hole cut out of the bed. I also have the holes drilled for the bolts. So this is the bezel piece. It'll sit like that. The only issue that I'm thinking I might have is because there's these supports for the bedside that came with the OGS bumper, I might have to bend them a little bit or something just so I can fit the box next to it, because this box sits between the bedside and the bed itself, kind of in that gap. So just this general area might have some clearance issues, but I'm gonna try and shimmy that metal piece and see if I can make it work, and then we'll see kind of what happens and what else I gotta adjust. All right, so I pretty much got this mocked up where I want it. Test fitted the door. The door is snug on there. I'm gonna have to go around and tighten these bolts and nuts that are around the edge. So this is the option that you can get that has the cam locks. You can get the regular one that just has a knob if you want, if you don't need it to lock, but I just wanted to try it out, see how it is. And they include keys, and I'm going to show you kind of how it works. So you pretty much have a key, one for each cam lock. So you put the key in and open, other key, same thing, open, and then pretty much your trap door comes out. It has the cam locks and everything inside. So next thing, I'm going to be working on getting the compressor mounted up and putting it in the box and figuring out a way to stick it back here. So far, I have the compressor mounted into the box. They actually include all the holes and stuff. I have it taped up, so whatever holes you don't use, you pretty much cover with this heavy duty like plastic tape, so moisture doesn't get in, or excess moisture doesn't get in. And then you just follow their diagram for which compressor you have, and then you can just put all the bolts in. I have my dual air compressor, and then I have the manifold here with a quick fitting right here, and then I have the solenoid for the front locker that I am going to be putting in, and then I have the line that runs from the compressor to the manifold, and then I got some wires pretty much all set up and clipped in. And then once I get this box mounted in the bed, I'm going to go ahead and start running some wires to the front, and then start figuring out how everything is going to work. I also took out this bracket that was holding, or just kind of like a support bracket that keeps this bedside from, you know, flapping all over the place. So I took that out. I'm going to try and shimmy the box in there, and then we'll see how that goes. All right, so I finally got the box in with the compressor. It took a little bit of shimmying. This one part of the bed, it had like a rib in it, so I had to kind of cut the box out itself so I could kind of go around it, because I guess the way I lined it up, it was supposed to be a little more over to the side. I don't know how to explain it, but so that's what it looks like. It's pretty tight in there. And then I guess I had it just far enough where I could put this support bracket back in so it just clears it like perfectly. That was kind of a lucky one. I didn't measure anything. I just kind of cut and went. And then just tightening the back bolts on the opposite side are an absolute pain because you can't fit anything back there. So what you always end up doing is those little 1 click, 2 clicks with the ratchet, and yeah, it's not fun. So it took a little while, but it's finally in. So next thing I'm going to be doing is running the wires to the battery and to the Switch Pro just to make sure everything works. And then yeah, all right, so I finally got everything wired up, everything's working, and I tested it. So I'm not gonna even lie to you, it took a lot longer than I expected, but not necessarily because it was hard or anything like that. It was just I wanted to do everything the right way. I wanted all the wire loomed, I wanted it tucked up nice and high, not just dangling all over the place. And then I made some modifications to the factory wire harness that comes with it, because typically you would run their switch, and if you had 2 solenoids that you had to power, this and that. So I pretty much cut up that wiring harness and kind of just used whatever I needed. So since I only needed like 1 of the solenoids, I cut out the other one. I didn't need any like illumination or ignition wires, so I cut those out. And then I just ran the positives and negatives that go straight to the compressor. And then the ones for the switch, or the switches, I ran them to the Switch Pro that I have. So I can operate everything through the Switch Pro, and I just tested it. I'll show you guys how it works. I'm in my truck right now. I have the door open so you guys can hear the compressor turn on, but it's a little loud because I'm still in my garage. But since I have my Switch Pro here, I have it wired to my Switch 7, and then the front solenoid or the front locker is going to be wired to the Switch 8. So first things first, I'll turn on the air. You press this one. That sound was the compressor turning on, and then once it hit the right PSI or for the pressure switch, it turns off. So same thing, I can test the solenoid to make sure it works. So if I press this one, you'll hear some air come out. Every time I press the solenoid, it releases the air, which would go to the front locker and lock the diff. But because I don't, it just releases the air, and then the compressor turns back on just to repressurize the system back to, you know, the regular standard. I think it's like 120 psi or something like that. But I don't remember off the top of my head what exactly the pressure switch is. But yeah, so it just turns on whenever there's less than that pressure, and then it stops once it hits that pressure again. Pretty much looks like it's OEM. And if you really wanted to get some black hardware, you could do that too, and it blend in a lot better. This works perfectly fine for me. And just to kind of tell you what I had to use, I used 1.5" 5/16 bolts that went through, and then I had just a regular hex nut behind that against the bed with a washer. And then the box that holds the compressor, I put it on over that with another washer and then a lock nut behind that. So the bolts were pretty much locked in place with the hex nuts on the bed. So when I place the box on it, they're not moving all over the place while I'm trying to tighten it and everything and hold everything up at the same time. So that really helped. And I'll take the keys out. You can see this thing is, you know, pretty solid. You can't really tamper with it because there's nothing to grab onto. So I really like it so far, and I'll probably be testing it out a lot more in the future. So I'll show you guys, same thing. To unlock it, the door comes right off. You don't have to put locks on both of them. I'm probably going to end up using one just so it's not the same where I have to fumble and find the key and see which one goes to which. But that's the compressor in there along with the manifold, so it looks really nice and tidy. It's low profile. You're not going to see it from the inside of the fender, even though I don't have fender liners. I mean, you'll see a box, but you wouldn't know there's a compressor in there or anything crazy. So I think it's a pretty great spot, and I think the kit that they make is pretty good too. So even if you don't have a bed storage factory like how mine was, you still can use this kit, and you just cut your own hole and drill your own holes, and it works just the same. So just a little bit of massaging with some of the extra pieces in the bed, but overall it's not hard to get the box in. It was just more so tedious running the wires and making sure I knew which wire went to which switch and which was what. But other than that, it's not super crazy or technical. But other than that, that's gonna be it for this video. I just wanted to show you guys how I was planning to mount my air compressor, and you know, how I'm gonna power my locker and stuff like that when I get it in the front. And yeah, so just a quick update. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, found something useful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the things. Till next time, shoots.